Yeah, so the American beech is a pretty important tree. Prefers to grow in very fertile soil, which has made it prone to clear cutting to make room on that fertile soil for farmland. Um, Grows to 100 feet, 2 to 3 feet in diameter, dense crown. It would be part of old growth mature forest with white sugar maple and hemlock. It would live several hundred years in the absence of disease. Smooth gray bark, quite a thin bark. Even the old beech trees have a smooth, thin bark. They don't thicken and crack like older trees. Wounds are slow to heal. The beech, it creates very dense shade, and its saplings, the saplings of beech and maple in the same type of forest, those are very tolerant of deep shade. Small beech and maple can grow in the understory at a very slow rate, live for 60, 70 years in dense shade, and when an opening in the canopy appears, they'll grow very quickly. Yeah, so it's a very dense, straight grain wood, resistant to splitting. Here's some pictures of a few pieces of beech that I milled on my sawmill. Nice wood. Very strong, good for furniture, flooring, tool handles. It's a really good choice for steam bending wood, like chair backs or other places where you need to bend a piece of wood. Also makes excellent firewood, very dense, lots of heat. The leaves turn reddish brown, kind of a bronze color in the fall. The beech has the most enduring color of fall time. The leaves will stay on a beech tree all winter long. Often they'll be there in the spring and only finally get pushed off the tree when the new leaves start to sprout in the springtime. Beech trees are very prone to sprouting from the roots. You'll see in places where a large beech tree has died or been sawn down, a ring of shoots will form around that in sort of a fairy ring. Apparently, beech stands over the space of hundreds of acres can be all interconnected at their root, and the organism can actually be thousands of years old, all sharing resources. They also develop symbiotic relationships with some root funguses that help with the interconnectivity. Fungal organisms on the roots of beech also will show fairy rings of mushrooms. Some very poisonous mushrooms will grow in a beech forest. There's also the beech drop, which is a parasitic plant that attaches to the beech root, gets all of its nutrition and water from the beech root, doesn't actually produce leaves because it doesn't make chlorophyll or do photosynthesis. So just a sprout that comes up off the roots. Historically, apparently was used medicinally. Doesn't really cause any substantial harm to the beech tree, just raids its resources a little bit. It produces pods with seed that will only germinate in the presence of beech root. So pretty interesting little plant. One of the big things with the beech tree is the beech nut. They grow in spiny husks, 2 to 3 beech nuts in the husk. I can still vividly remember being on a ridge in a dense forest of tall beech trees 45 years ago as a boy with my dad showing me about beech nuts while on a ruffed grouse hunting adventure. Beech trees flower in the springtime, about the end of April, 1st of May. The plant is wind pollinated. Beech trees don't produce the same amount of nuts every year. The prior couple of growing seasons, greatly impact the number of nuts produced. Spring frost can have a significant impact on survival of the flowers. Beech trees are biennial or triennial and simply produce few or no crops in some years. A mature tree will produce significantly more nuts than younger trees will. And then occasionally large crops known as a mast crop. Extremely important to lots of animals, deer, bear, turkeys, grouse, about anything living in these old-growth forests. Of note, the moose does not typically eat the beech nut. So, yeah, like I talked about in the introduction video a couple days ago about the passenger pigeon. So the passenger pigeon, historically, the beech nut was very important. It is said that the passenger pigeon, which is now extinct, made up 1/4 of all the birds in America were passenger pigeons. They would number in the billions, and flocks were said to be miles wide and hundreds of miles long. And when they were coming through, often it would take them more than a day to pass, and the sky would be darkened by the passing of the passenger pigeon. That would have been quite a sight to see, but those days are unfortunately gone. There is a nonprofit that's working on trying to bring back the passenger pigeon. Apparently we have their entire genome. So yeah, there's thoughts that, maybe they can redevelop roosts of some of these. I don't know that the beech tree will be around for them to have use of, but anyway, that's just kind of a side note. The beeches, they've been attacked by an insect that was imported from Europe, the beech scale insect. Part of the problem known as the beech bark disease, that is both this scale insect and attacked by a fungus. It was imported from Europe into Nova Scotia in the late 1800s, has moved through the beech range into the southern U.S. over the course of about 100 years. So the scale insect, about the size of a grain of rice, feeds on the sap of the beech tree, which, as we said, has a very thin bark, and this small insect can pierce the bark, suck on the sap. The beech is very slow to heal this, and a fungus attacks the tree, causing lesions on the bark. It interrupts the flow of sap and can end up girdling the tree. It weakens the tree. You'll often see beeches with the top half snapped right off in the wind. And yeah, so it's killing the beech off. As you can see in the video that's accompanying this, you don't see any of the tall trees in this forest are beech. It's more like dense thickets of beech that are 10, 12, 15 feet tall. I'm not sure they really are reaching maturity all that well before they get killed off. Don't believe they're creating the millions of nuts per acre like they did in their heyday. So yeah, just some trouble on the horizon. There's a newcomer to trouble for the beech called the beech leaf disease, caused by nematode that's invasive. Essentially, it's a microscopic roundworm that causes dark bands on the leaves of the beech and curling of the leaves. And Maine Forest Service says that I think it was in September 2025, they noted the first death of beech that are linked directly to this new disease, new invasion of this nematode. First detected in 2021, and it is now also killing off beech trees. So, the 100-foot beech trees dropping millions of beech nuts per acre, feeding the wildlife, seems to be part of the past. The future of the beech tree doesn't look very good at all. Just an important species that's in substantial danger. Please subscribe, share your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.